Good morning. If you watched my last vlog, I told you this was going to happen, which is that my husband was going to take up all the leaves. Yes, it is time to rake them all up, which is what he is doing, and he will not relent until they're all gone. Now, he does know as well as I do that it is better for the lawn, better for the environment to just leave them there and maybe mulch them. But I guess he can't help himself. It must be done.
Well, a proper hello to you all. My name is Helen. Welcome to the now called Helen Avery channel. It used to be the Shrimpy Mickey channel, but we've done a little bit of a brand refresh to align everything because I also have an online publication which is called Helen Avery, completely free to sign up. I'll put a link down below in the description box. Today, I thought we would have a little vlog time together. This is sort of almost a part 2 to my previous week's vlog. So if you haven't seen that, check that out, where I went to 2 events and I picked up all kinds of like skincare, beauty care, other kinds of products, and I'm gonna try them out now because I thought that would be fun. There's no sense just looking at them. We want to see what's inside, right? So at the first event, and you can see the whole thing, like I filmed as much as I could and I unboxed everything. At the first event, I got these Nudestix products, which I have not tried yet, so I'm super keen to try them with you guys. This is available, it's a limited edition pack. It is available at Sephora and I think through Nudestix.com's website as well. And what you've got here is a bronze, a blush, and a blot, and these are all something I've never tried, which I believe is a sort of cream to powder formulation. I could be wrong about the formulation, but that's the vibe, and like a stick format. I never use this kind of stuff, so I'm super excited. This is a collab with Glamzilla, who it actually doesn't look that much like her there. Let's see if I can, yeah. And she is a really popular beauty influencer. You know, you may have seen her here on YouTube. Her stuff always shows up in my shorts. And when I was looking at TikTok, which I'm not anymore, I'm off TikTok because I became too addicted. Her stuff used to pop up there on TikTok as well. So she's a huge star. She has made this collab of these 3 products, and I believe it's in the $50 range-ish for the 3 of them. It could even be higher than that, actually. They are, but each of them is quite expensive on their own, so I'm sure you are saving some money by buying the 3 of them together. The one that I'm most excited about, which I mentioned in the last vlog, is this one, which is clear. And you're like, what is that all about? Well, what it is, it's a blot and blur matte stick. So instead of using like blotting paper, you would use this instead. And I was curious to sort of use it on my shinier spots where my sort of wrinkles are more apparent. So of course you'd love to, you know, as anybody would, like to blur that out a bit. But yeah, let's use these other ones. There is the bronze, there is the blush, and I'm sort of the least convinced about the blush. I think I'm gonna start with that. And then after I try these ones, we're gonna pick out something from this e.l.f. collection, and I got this at the second event that I was at because that company represented e.l.f. And so there is not 1, not 2, not 5, but 10 lip glosses and lip plumpers. So we will try something from here as well. Not all of them because I think I don't want to swatch these all out. I actually want to just take 2 for myself and then give the rest to like the 3,000 female cousins that I have. I have a lot of girl cousins who wear makeup, so I will spread the wealth at some point. And I also wanted to make this vlog, and I will be talking more about expensive stuff because I know that this is like sort of higher ticket stuff that I've been enjoying. I wanted to make sure that this dropped before, what is it called? Black Friday. I wanted to make sure that this was out because some of the stuff is very expensive, like this kind of stuff that is higher end, so that, you know, if you can get a sale, maybe you can combine it at the right time and get the most money off now. And I'll have some like crazy big ticket items in this vlog that we will talk about. So yeah, just stay tuned for all of that. I will stop yammering in the meantime and get this a little bit on the face. So this, we're going in with the blush. It's called Nude Buff. Okay, so I don't know, I feel that this is a bit warm. Like this is not something I would ever pick for myself. Let's blend it in a bit with the old fingers. I always go with and you'll know if you see me a lot here, I always go with a proper pink blush. That is like my favorite. Not too baby pink or anything like that, but definitely more of I'm gonna say almost a cool tone. And when I say cool tone, almost like a pinky with a bit of a blue kind of undertone is kind of my favorite. This is more warm, which when we say warm, we mean more of like a browny kind of orange undertone. I think that actually kind of looks nice, but very subtle. So I think you need to, I'm gonna just put some on my finger. and see if I can sort of bump up the color payoff a bit. It is quite sheer. What do you guys think? I don't know. I like my pink blush better, I think, overall, which doesn't surprise me. I kind of knew looking at this. I don't love ones that are this kind of shade, but it's fun to try something new, isn't it? It goes on beautifully though. That was super easy, so I think that the stuff is good. Nudestix is known for their sort of no makeup kind of vibe. So if you're not great at applying makeup, that was very, very easy. And I don't think you need a buffer blush like this, but you know, if you have one, cool. Okay, so yeah, so that is the blush. Let's move on now to the bronze color. Okay, now time to try out the bronzer, which I have a little bit more hope for because I'm a little less picky about bronzer colors. Like when I like pink, I like a really specific pink shade and I never deviate from it, like never deviate from it really. But when it comes to like bronzer, I'm a little more anything goes. Okay, so everybody applies bronzer a little differently and in slightly different spots, but apparently this is one way you can. Sometimes I do a bit of almost like a contouring effect. You know, I guess the idea for bronzer is it's supposed to be like in the spots where the sun would naturally hit you, right? So yes, definitely up here for me, my forehead always is another color from the rest of me because it picks up the sun. Even with sunscreen, it just gets more like right up here, it gets more tan. So sometimes that is actually, sometimes I use a different shade of concealer or foundation up here. So that is a bit of a trick. I need to use a bit of a warmer and darker or deeper shade up here as compared to like here, which is whiter. So, and that is not uncommon, apparently. I did see actually on Lisa Eldridge, who is a really well-known makeup artist. She had a guest artist on, I can't remember, Kimiko, I think was her name. So in that one, for the sort of person that they were doing the makeup on, the model also had this sort of darker strip up here, and so they used a different foundation shade in here. That was a very long way of saying that I need more than one foundation shade, which sounds excessive, but it is what it is, I guess. Okay, so that blended out quite nicely. I think I just used my fingers. This is an e.l.f. triangular buffing blush. My goodness, that was hard to say, and I've had this for a while, and the bristles are very densely packed on this one. Very inexpensive. e.l.f. brushes are, in my opinion, quite good for the money that you pay, and they last a long time. I've had this for a few years now. So this is really good for blending out stuff like this, even though I don't use very much of it. But even for like concealer, if I'm using a concealer shade that's a bit darker up here, which is sometimes what I do in a pinch, it just blends it out really nicely. So I think that that looks good. I think that this is okay. I want to try using, this is going to be new for me, a tiny bit of because here's the thing, when I tan, of course this is part gets a little bit darker, so I sometimes like to see if I can just put a tiny bit here. And oh, that doesn't look very good right now, but let's blend it in, and if I did have a tan, that is where I would be tanned, actually. It wouldn't really be in the sort of contour zones. So let's have a look. Yeah, I put on too much there. Oh, it blends out so easily. You guys, this is a really nice formulation. You can just easily blend it in, and we love that, right? So there we are. I don't know if I look tanned or not. I think I do. I think I look a little bit tanned. So there we go, a very light makeup look. I'm not sure I did a great job, but you know what? We will let it melt into the skin a little bit and maybe go outside for a little walk together and see what it looks like in the sunlight. Ooh, I'm kind of scared. Oh, and then I did want to try this, of course. How did I forget? This is the matte stick, right? So let's see what it says here. A multitasking ultra soft clear balm that blots oil to create a matte finish and blur imperfections. Dot to blot on the go all day. So I guess you're supposed to take it with you. And so it seems to have silicone and silica in it. So that's probably where the blotting effect comes from. So I'm going to try it right in here, see how she goes. So I'm just gonna, all right, that already took down the shine a bit. So that's interesting. So I think you just, that worked well. So it was a bit shinier there before. So it is still shiny up here, but this part, the shine has taken away. So that's kind of nice. Another bit of shine that I don't like that I get tends to be right around here. Forgive me for not looking straight at you. I'm kind of looking up to the side because I'm looking at myself in the monitor, which I do sometimes, just to kind of keep track of where things are at. Let me blot that in. that feels really nice and light. It has a sort of smooth finish to it when you touch it with your fingers. So that's nice. I'm really liking this product. And let me tell you, there's a lot in here. This is gonna last for ages. I think that all of these will last and last and last. I'd be surprised if that doesn't last me. It'll probably last me 2 years, to be honest. These, they might not last as long because I can't see how much is in there, but they feel weighty enough. But there's a lot in this one. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised that this is like, it feels very full. Yeah, lovely set, really like this. Okay, let's move on quickly to some e.l.f. Naughty and Ice Lip Gloss Vault, it's called. So this is gonna be, you know, you can just see by the name and by the packaging, this is a Christmas only kind of a thing. So, you know, get it now or don't get it at all, I suppose. And oh, I don't know, did I mention that this Nudestix kit is also limited edition? So again, if you want these, you gotta put them on your list and sort of get to it now while the getting's good, because if you're watching this in 2 years from now, these products might not be available in this exact configuration, which is always disappointing, isn't it? When you find something you really love. Okay, don't mind me as I struggle, as I always do. Struggling with packaging, honestly, could be the name of, could be the other name of this channel. Okay, you know what? I actually have to turn this off a second so that you don't watch me grapple with this for the next 30 seconds. Well, it's a good thing that I shut the camera off, because the first thing I did when I opened it was spill them all over the floor, and then I could only find 9 and I couldn't find the 10th, and the 10th was hiding on me. So here we are. Look, it is so cool to have this bundle of shades, but of course, as I said, I'm not going to be keeping them all. So I'm only going to try and narrow it down to ones that I will actually use. The others, the real glittery ones, I'll save for the younger members of my family. Not that glitter is like an age-related thing, but I just know myself and I'll never use it, so I'm not going to keep it. But that could be fun for someone else. Someone else, okay? So many cool shades, right? Like, they're all kind of neutral, neutrally pink, and or whitey, glassy, pinky kind of vibe. That is definitely the shades. I love pinks and pink nudes, so I'm going to just isolate those down. Half of these are lacquers, and half of them are lip plumping gloss. And I don't know what the difference is, so I'm gonna pick one of each. So a lip lacquer. So I've narrowed it down to these 2 lip lacquers, and then let's look at the glosses, the lip plumping gloss. So these 2 lip lacquers, and I've narrowed it down to these 2 lip plumping glosses, you see? Okay, changed my mind. Originally I had picked up this, which I think is called Mocha Twist, and even with the name Mocha, I'm like, that might be too brown for my liking, which might be nice to try on once, but I'll never consistently use it. So I changed it up for Sparkling Rosé, which I think has more pink, at least indicated by the name. This is a lip plumping gloss. Here we go, here we go. Okay. Well, there we are, very subtle. It's a plumping gloss, so I can feel it sort of stinging my lips, I guess. Not that I really feel like my lips need to be plumper. I think that they're kind of okay as they are, but if you're into a plumping gloss, this seems like a nice one. A very, very subtle color. You know, I don't know that I'm gonna open any more of the plumping ones because I don't love that tingling sensation that it gives you. It's still tingling, I wiped it off. Let's try now the lip lacquer. This is shade Moody. I don't know what the difference between the lacquer and the gloss is. I'm guessing that the gloss is a plumping product and this one is not, and this one is gonna be shinier and have that more lacquered look. Yeah, I think that is much more my speed. I'm enjoying this lacquer. You guys, okay, pardon the blush look, but I'm so dumb. Look what I didn't realize, and I knew this because Adrienne at the event had shown me that there is actually a blender at the end of this. So it is product on one side, and that's why it feels like a little bit less than the pure matte stick, but there's this beautiful blending brush. How clever is that? How did I forget all about that? So I just put some more on, and let's just work it in because I realized, you know, I just did not put enough product on, so the payoff was just too minimal. Love that. Okay. Right, so this is a game changer. I really am enjoying this brush. It's really soft, so there was no need for my e.l.f. brush after all. I don't know, what was I thinking? I don't know why I'm so excited about a brush being at the end of a product. I just am, so that's really cool. So how do we think the makeup looks? I think it's performing pretty well. It is really, really subtle, which I enjoy. That said, maybe I overdid it with the blush. I don't know, it is a bit of a stronger look, but I wanted to put more on so that we'd have at least a little bit of visible payoff because my first application couldn't even see it. I couldn't really even see it at all because I had blended it in so well. I want to tell you guys about, I think, the electronics
that I really enjoy. And the reason I'm telling you is this time of year is when they really go on a big discounts you don't normally see the rest of the year. So the first one is Bose noise canceling over the ear headphones. These are amazing if you have like noisy neighbors, if you go to a gym where they play EDM music, or like there's so many different, if you travel a lot on airplanes, there's so many different scenarios where these totally come in handy. Please don't wear them walking around busy streets though, because you don't hear the traffic noise, which you need to hear. But otherwise they are fantastic, and they are a massive splurge. They are around $200, $300. I've even seen them sometimes for $400 when they're not on sale. So I'll put a picture. These are the kind that go over the ear. I have purchased Sony noise canceling headphones, which are a fraction of the cost, but they're just not as good. Bose makes amazing stuff. I used to have a Bose sound system on the luxury car that I don't own anymore. I don't own a luxury car anymore, but when I did, I had a Bose sound system, and it was amazing. Their fidelity and sound quality just can't be beat. Definitely worth the premium. The second one is this HP laser printer, which is good if you just need black and white printouts and you want a really small footprint printer. I hate huge printers when they take up a ton of space, so I researched like crazy years ago the smallest one I could find. The laser cartridges last forever compared to ink, and I've been really happy with this, and I've owned it for years. Otherwise I wouldn't recommend it, but I will put a link down below, links to all these things below in the description box as well. The last electronic, sorry, the sun keeps going in my face. The last electronic I wanted to mention was Blue Yeti's microphone with a USB. So this is one that plugs into your laptop. Amazing if you're doing like a lot of Zooms and stuff, and people are like saying your audio quality is not that great. This is around $100, so it probably will go on sale, and it is just amazing. It has this real kind of old-fashioned look. Don't get the snowball. That's the one that looks like a ball with 3 little legs. That one's not great. This one though, and I will show you a photo of it, is so good. I've used it for podcasts. The quality is amazing. Sometimes use it to do voiceovers on my channel. It is just a really, really good purchase. I'm heading out now to the gym, which to be honest is the worst part of my day. I do this because it's good for my health, not because I particularly enjoy it. Oh, look at this lovely graffiti behind me. My goodness. I did not want to forget to tell you about really good red wine, and I'm telling you this because this is a season where you kind of have to bring a lot of bottles of red wine typically to people's homes, so it's now or never. And it is Dauphins Cotes du Rhone, which is a really nice, fairly heavy I would say, but easy drinking red wine that goes well with like beef products like steak, stuff like that. My husband and I tried this particular red wine, and I will put a picture up of it. I'm gonna say 16 years ago in Paris, and we kind of never looked back. It's kind of been our go-to since then. And once I was in our liquor store, and a lady was putting, I'm not joking, maybe 8 bottles of this exact wine into her cart. So I don't know if she was like in the food service industry or she just likes this wine as much as we do, but it is easy drinking and really popular for a good reason. And it's affordable.
It is now the mid-afternoon, and sorry for this random sunbeam in my face, but I'm just enjoying the afternoon light streaming into my bedroom. Now that the leaves have fallen, the light comes in a bit more to my house. So I guess that is one nice thing about this time of year, but it is sad when all the leaves come down. You might have seen me going on my walks, and yeah, the trees are getting more and more bare. They're gonna be completely bare probably in a few days. Oh, you'll see behind me a robe. This is a cotton robe, and I've really been enjoying wearing robes lately, kind of like the 80s housewife that maybe I was always meant to be. I don't know. I'm living my best life in this robe because I find it perfect in the morning when I want to go down and get my coffee, and it's a little bit chilly in the house because we make it chillier overnight. So I pop on the robe, make my coffee, and sort of putter around with a robe on, and I just am living my best Golden Girls life when I do that. I'm just going to read a little bit now, so I just thought I would sit down and just tell you guys what I've been reading, because sometimes people like to hear about what I've been up to in terms of reading life. As you guys may or may not know, I've kind of been into sort of, we'll call it digital minimalism, where I try and spend a lot less time on my phone. I don't really count making videos though, because I don't think it's like that sort of passive sort of screen engagement. It's not the same thing. But anyway, I am reading Virginia Woolf's biography by her nephew, Quentin Bell. And so far so good. I'm not the biggest Virginia Woolf fan or anything like that. I've read some of her work, as many of us have done for university English classes. She's not one of my all-time faves or anything like that, but I love biography almost more than I love original works sometimes. Like I can really, like if you have any sort of like 1950s, 1940s celebrity, I am much more interested in their biographies than in their movies usually. And the same is for this. But I did read To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf recently. I reread it and I was just moved at how different it is to anything that I've read. Like just the narrative structure is so interesting. So if it's been a while since you read it, or you know, maybe you haven't read it, it is one of the classics. I would say have a look. It is so interesting. You realize in reading it that there's very little dialogue between the characters in it, and it is very much about thoughts. It is just thought after thought, all strung together in an almost poetic rhythm. So yeah, if it's been a while and you haven't read it, I'd say have a dip back in, because it is, you know, a masterpiece of sort of the early 1900s. Heading out now for a family dinner to Nando's. Do they have a Nando's where you are? Because I know that this is a chain that's pretty much all over the world. I am wearing my necklaces that you may have seen this again in my last vlog. This one is from Suetables and it's stamped with a little H. I'm not sure if you can see that. And this one is from Lover's Tempo. It's a little crescent moon, super cute. And I'll flip you around. I am wearing my Zara blazer, but it's actually supposed to be a dress, and that cracks me up because look how short it is. It would be like a dress for, I don't know, a 7-year-old or something like that. It is incredibly short, but that's why I wear it with leggings, like a blazer. And I also have riding boots, and I'm bringing my trusty old Speedy that my husband bought me when I turned 29, so that was a long time ago. I've had this for ages, and I'm gonna head out the door, and the guys are already at the car, so I've got to move it. Just got to put my riding boots on. I can already smell Nando's. I really love the decor at this location. It's super pretty. Nando's! Wanted to be seated in that 10-seater booth, but I've never had a big enough crowd, so I'm gonna have to come with a big crowd next time. These are their peas, and they're amazing if you ever get a chance to try them. So good. My favorite thing actually here, along with the chicken, of course. So that was an amazing meal, enjoyed by all, and it is getting dark now, even though it's not that late. It's just that time of year. We're not so far from the Eaton Centre where we were having our dinner, so I thought we would just come and have a little look around. They're starting to put the Christmas lights up and it looks so nice. When I tell you it is literally not an exaggeration that I grew up in this mall, the only difference is it is about 5 times more crowded than when I was a kid, because growing up here in Toronto, our population was less than 500,000 and now we're in the multi-millions, I think actually bigger than Chicago now. So a lot has changed, but it is a lot more crowded, that is for sure. We're now on the top level, which is my favorite level, which is where all the fanciest stores are. The Christmas trees on fire, Santa's holding
aka the Mothership, is calling me. Now in Nordstrom, which if you're following my newsletter, you'll know is my favorite store these days. So I'm gonna see what they've got in terms of jeans. Not too hopeful, but we're here, so may as well have a look. Well, no luck with the jeans, but I will put you onto a hot tip, which is that Nordstroms have the best bathrooms in Toronto. It can be hard to find a good washroom, restroom, toilet, whatever you call them where you are, but because I guess it's newer to Canada, they tend to be better kept and cleaner, and they have those like nice paper toilet seat covers. And maybe I shouldn't be sharing this because now everyone's gonna know. But yeah.
Late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am.
So that gorgeous coat that I was trying, hope you guys can hear me, is a knockoff of Max Mara's teddy bear coat, which I'm sure you've seen copied so many different times. The actual Max Mara coat is like $3,000, incredibly expensive, but the nicest fibers. It is made out of silk, and we know silk is expensive, wool, and I think alpaca or cashmere or something like that. And the one I tried on from Zara is 100% polyester, but a really good dupe. I thought it looked quite nice. I'm kind of tempted, but I don't like to buy from Zara. Longtime viewers will know that I avoid fast fashion when I can, or at least buying it firsthand. Like I'll buy it on the resale market a lot of times, even new with tags. The other interesting thing is that apparently the Max Mara, the actual real coat, is huge. So even if you get an extra small, it can be super duper baggy. All right, I'm heading back to the car with my family. It's getting super dark, so I'm gonna call it quits for the night, and we will see you tomorrow. Good morning, and forgive my bleary face. I could not wake up this morning. It is one of those rainy days, and I'm always on the struggle bus when it is raining and dark to wake up. But yeah, I was hoping to walk to the library, but we'll see. Looks maybe a little bit too rainy for the 1 kilometer walk that I had in mind. But anyhow, I wanted to tell you guys about 2 primer products that I've never mentioned anywhere before. I got them for free in a big Sephora sample bag. One of them is the Milk Hydro Grip, I believe this is. Yeah, the Hydro Grip primer. This is super famous. I'd say about 1.5 years ago, it really took off. I haven't heard that much about it yet, but it makes like a really sticky film on your face, and then you put your foundation on over it, and I don't like it that much, which I guess is not that surprising. I found that whatever my skincare combo is, it pilled. It made it the foundation pill on top after all, which means like lots of little flakes were coming off all day, which is gross. The other thing that I got that I'm going to tell you about, because this is expensive, so if you want to get this, maybe now is the time, maybe even from Dior's website directly, and that is Dior's Backstage Face and Body Primer. And look, it's even in this tiny glass bottle, which whatever, but the cool thing is it has this little paddle, and once you take some off, the paddle replenishes. It's so hard to describe, but I guess it just runs down and then pops out of these 2 holes. It's a really innovative little paddle design, and I'm guessing it's just a minor version of the big bottle, because obviously this is just a sample size. But my trick for this is that I do not put it on my forehead, because it makes me break out on my forehead only. But if I put it right here, which if we're honest is the place that the foundation comes off first, right around here, especially if I'm like blowing my nose throughout the day or whatever, I just put it here and I find it works fabulously. It is such a good primer. It is scented though, so if that's gonna put you off, perhaps this is not the primer for you, but I just use it in these areas, which is incidentally the area I need the most foundation as well. I don't use too much on my forehead anyway. But I'm going to show you how I use a bit of a dark. I have to use a bit of a darker, warmer, deeper shade, or just around here. And yeah, I'm not going to do a full like get ready with me, but I just thought I would tell you, not so great, really, really great, but not on the forehead. It caused me a breakout, perhaps not for you depending on your skin type, but grips foundation all day long, the Dior. And yeah, I'm going to put some foundation on and get ready for the day. If you do end up getting the Dior Backstage Primer,
Keep in mind that if you buy directly, of course I'm not trying to like promote the Dior site. This is not an affiliate link or anything like that. But if you do go to the Dior site directly, I have heard, even though I haven't ordered directly from them myself, that you get like really nice samples and then you get this beautiful, I think, Dior packaging, including a Dior box. So if that appeals to you and it's maybe like the same price as, I don't know, Nordstrom or wherever, or Sephora, maybe you want to check out that route, what with Black Friday sales coming on and stuff like that. So that's just a tip about buying directly from Dior. Chanel is the same thing. If you buy like Chanel lipstick off the Chanel site, I don't know if they'll have like what kind of discount situation. Points, you know, is not really a thing there, unlike Nordstrom. But if you do want gorgeous packaging for whatever reason, that's the place to do it. Okay, so like I said, I just dab on a little, I have this like concealer card sample, so I'm just using a skin tone that would be darker. I guess my own one would be kind of more between these. So I'm using this one. I just make a few dabs around the forehead and then I blend it in because, yeah, I'm deeper there. So if I use the same shade as the rest of my face, it ends up being too light and kind of conspicuous. And even that's a bit light, so I'm actually gonna go to a much deeper shade, which I know maybe seems a bit crazy, like I'm not that dark, which I'm not. Okay, and I'm gonna blend it in a bit with the other one. And I know that's quite deep, but yeah. That's what I have to do, people. Now you know all my secrets. Plus I like that it makes it a bit shadowed there, which is how people often apply like bronzer, and some people even contour up in the forehead. So I just use a slightly darker shade of concealer, or if I had foundation, which I don't, I would be using foundation instead. So here's a little funny anecdote about native Torontonian people, and it is that we absolutely hate rain. We can abide snow, we can abide hot temperatures for the most part, but rain, no, it does not remind us of anything nice. It reminds us of being like stuck inside for recess because they wouldn't let us out when it rained a lot here growing up. But everyone I know that's born and bred Toronto person does not like rain. That's their least favorite thing. And I am no exception. I cannot stand getting wet. When it rains is one of the few times that I will not go out for my like morning walk. But sometimes I'll put the old, you know, raincoat and umbrella and rubber boots on and stuff like that, but often I'll just wait for it to stop instead. This is number 7, Stay Perfect Long Lasting Volume Mascara. It is a tubing mascara, which I really enjoy because that means it stays on. Nothing budges it until you use some sort of soap when you're washing your face. Even like a cream cleanser doesn't budge it. You actually have to use like a more soapy formulation, and that makes the tubes just fall right off instead of having to like rub and then have it everywhere and stuff like that, or flaking. It never flakes like down below as well. So this is a really nice one, better than I think Blink is the main competitor. That one is not very good for whatever reason. This is the one, it's amazing. And I use, I think, whatever the blackest of the black is. Yeah, it just says black. So really good stuff. Number 7, mascara. And it doesn't say tubing, but it is a tubing formulation. Here we go again with the Nudestix. Just gonna apply this to the apples. It looks so silly. You see the bronzer goes here, but I don't know, can that be right? I don't know. I would have thought that's more contour, but I guess that's where they want your contour. So a little bit up here, a little bit up here. Okay, we're gonna blend it in now using the other side. And the blush has it too. But the matte stick, that's why this one felt like it had more in it, because it does not have, you don't need to blend it like that. You just use your, I don't think you have to blend it at all, but if you do want to blend it, you just use your fingers. So let's blend-a-roo. I still am gonna blend a little bit with my fingers because I think that those little brushes did a nice job, but I think the lipstick that will go best is a sort of more brown toned, sort of in the family of these, which is an Old Cora's lipstick in the color Grace, and you see me wear this many times. Anytime I'm basically not wearing a pink and I'm wearing more of a brown color, it's this one. It's one of those like brown pinky nudes. And then last touch is just this blot and blur stick, which I'm gonna use on my frown lines. See how that goes. I'm not too shiny of a person, but I don't like it when that part gets shiny. So I'm just making myself a little breakfast now of pita and hummus before I sit down to work. And here's my tip for heating up a pita. This might not be to everybody's liking, but I leave it on the top and I put the toaster down. Does that make sense? And so it just toasts the underside of it. And so one side is crispy and the other is warmed up, but not crispy.
So you've got this contrast with crunch and a bit softer. So give that a try if that sounds interesting to you. Just gonna have it with some hummus, sit down with my coffee, then I'll be sitting down to work for a bit. It is time for my work day to begin. I'm sat here at my desk, which is sadly in the bedroom. When Niall goes to the office, maybe even later today, I might switch over to the sort of study, I guess. It's our third bedroom, but we converted it into basically a work from home room for him during the pandemic when we were all working from home, but he's sort of in the office some days now, so then I get to sneak in there and use that extremely comfortable chair. He's got a really good ergonomic chair, but otherwise I'm stuck here, which is familiar to you guys. This is where I film all my videos. Yeah, you guys have seen this setup before. I thought it would take you on a little, make sure that I'm centered there. I thought it would take you on a little bit of a behind the scenes sort of thing about sort of my workflow and what I get up to, and I won't make this too boring for you. I will try and just sort of hit the high notes and the boring stuff I won't film, but the first thing I've got to do is have a look through my email because I know that I've had a few invitations, so I don't know, maybe you guys can weigh in on what you think of these. Oh, I've got a few new, I get notified when new people sign up for helenavery.substack.com, so I've got some new free subscriptions that have come in. And I see that, I get email notifications, so that's great. Thank you, whoever that was, for signing up. Hope you enjoy what you read there. I know that I am invited to a Mavi Jeans sort of spring summer preview. And so I'm not 100% sure I want to go to that because I don't know if that's something we necessarily do on this channel. We don't talk that much about clothing, although it could be cool to go and look at the new stuff because I'm having a heck of a time, as you guys saw, finding jeans lately. I just have kind of almost given up. I have sort of one pair of Madewell. I'm actually wearing them now. Skinny jeans, but you guys know skinny jeans are out now. Not that I care. You still need skinny jeans if you want to wear boots. Like if I want to wear my riding boots or my rain boots, still need to wear skinny jeans. You can't really get away from it. But the look has become wider, so I almost wonder if I go there, I might get some ideas, or maybe they let me try stuff on. I'm not sure if I'm going to go or not because I don't really want to suck up an entire morning doing that. But on the other hand, it could be fun to take you guys with me to look at the new jeans for spring, summer. I'm also invited to French PR, sort of, I think it's a dinner. No, it's a cocktail party. So I don't know if I want to go to that either. So you might see like the sort of gist of what I'm saying is I'm not sure I want to go to these just because they take up time and I don't know, am I really going to be invited on an actual press trip to France? I don't know. I was once before, but my kid was so young at the time. And this is when I was working for, I think, Canadian Living Magazine, which is a huge outlet. But my kid was like under 1 year old and I just didn't want to go on a press trip to France, you know, without him at that point. But they're having like a cocktail event, travel in a sustainable and responsible way in France. So that's what it's about. It's, I don't know, it's at 7:30 and it doesn't even seem like it's dinner. It seems like it's just cocktails. So, but I know the woman running it really well because she used to be the PR person for Quebec's tourism board. And so she moved over to the French one. And so we all went on this really long press trip together. We kind of became friendly way back then. This is before I had my kids, so this is like maybe 14, 15 years ago now. She's really lovely, so it would be nice to see her, but I don't know how much of her I would actually see at an event like this because she'd be running it, so it's not like we would get to catch up and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm not sure I'm going to be going to that one either, but those are nice to get. It's just nice to be getting them even if I don't go. The other thing that I want to do today is work on my Helen Avery editorial calendar, so I thought that could be fun to run through with you guys because it's not something I've shared really anywhere. So now we are kind of in the middle of November. So some of the articles that I have coming up is 7 reasons I changed a shrimpy Miggy to Helen Avery. So that is going to be a paywalled article. Like I said, the behind the scenes stuff is free. Sorry, the behind the scenes stuff is sort of the paywall stuff, but the really good stuff is always free. So don't hesitate to sign up just because you don't want to pay. Don't let that stop you. But some of the good stuff I have coming up, you know what? I'm going to like take a clip of this. In fact, I'll take a screen grab and I'll show it to you guys so you can look at this too. I shall pop this up on the screen so you can see what's coming up. I'm going to be talking about why introverts suffer during Christmas, and that will come out early in December, so that should be fun. I talk about, and you may have heard me talk a little bit about that before here on this channel where I delved into an article that I had written about this, so that will be fun. We'll talk about that. December 8th, I've got a roundup coming of very good things or really good things. I call it a roundup of really good things. The last one was the November edition, and that's what you've been hearing me talk about mostly here when I'm talking about stuff that I like. The next one will be a roundup of really good things, December edition, and I'm going to be doing these every month.
So that should be fun, right? That'll be just products that I like. It might be things that I've read that I like. It might be books, magazine articles, you name it, it will go in there. Someone told me it's sort of like Oprah's, Oprah does a sort of list of that, and I am kind of aware of that, and I feel like she used to give all this stuff away. She'd have a TV show, right? Like people would be getting cars and stuff like that, unless I'm remembering incorrectly. I've got something called I Know This Much Is True coming up, which is just sort of random thoughts, and I don't know if they're humorous or not, but I put them together and it should be kind of fun. I've played with form a little bit, so these are a bit more almost, they're not poetry, but they're sort of written in a sort of different cadence than regular prose. You'll see what that means. I know that sounds quite vague and strange right now. Okay, I'm gonna do a weight loss one at the end of December, so you'll see what my thoughts are on that. And the title right now tentatively is If I Only Knew This About Weight Loss 5 years ago. So one thing that I don't have anything down for December. You'll see I've got things color coded, so the different months are, so I can just visually see what the different months are. January is pretty much empty. I don't know what I'm doing for January, but I do know that this, I think January, February, definitely this upcoming winter, 2023, is I think the 20-year anniversary of The Devil Wears Prada. Not the movie, but the book. It might even be, could it be 30 years? No, it's gotta be 20 years. I think I'm gonna do a bit of a deep dive into it because there's this fascination about it. And in Anna Wintour, who this book is based on, right? And the movie is based on, the Meryl Streep character, Miranda Priestley, is based on Anna Wintour, who's still working at Vogue. She might be the last person standing there, even though there's been a massive decline in magazine sales and nobody there is making any money. Condé Nast is not making money like they used to, but she's still clinging on to the absolute top rung of power. She's a very interesting, very controversial character. So I'd love to dig into that. She is not a well-liked person, and whenever she shows up at tennis matches, my husband Niall, who's a massive tennis fan, also says whenever she shows up at like Serena Williams, who's retired, and Roger Federer, also retired, whenever she would show up at their tournaments, they would always lose. She was like a really bad luck figure, so that is interesting. I don't know if that'll make it into the article or not, but that should be coming. If I do that, that'll be coming in January or February. That could be a fun thing to deep dive into. Okay, so back to work for me. I'm just gonna spend another hour. Now it's 10:15. I'm gonna spend another hour just writing. I can only write for about an hour before my brain starts to fold in on itself. So I'm gonna sit here and do another hour of writing, and then maybe it'll clear up and we'll go for a walk at that point. I don't exactly know.
The biggest ticket item that I did not want to forget to mention is a mattress, and that is something that I purchased recently, and because I have a king size bed, it cost me over $1,000. Super expensive, but regular coil mattresses, not the sort of foam ones that come in a box. I'm talking the kind that you are in hotels with. So my favorite from all that I've ever tried has been the Sealy Posturepedic line. But the issue is that when you go from retailer to retailer, like say you go to a department store, or say you go to a mattress store, they call them Sealy Posturepedic, but you can never figure out exactly what they are. And I know this gets a little bit complicated to describe, but they give them different model names in each place, so you can't really comparison shop. But I do think I have a bit of a workaround for it, which is you've got to figure out what it is. For instance, I think mine is like a luxury firm pillow top. And so once you've figured out those key attributes, then you can kind of comparison shop. A little hard to understand, but again, I'll link up the article where I talk about it, and I link to another article. I'll make sure to put that in the description box, because if you're buying something this expensive, you'll want to know how much the regular price is, and you'll want to be able to comparison shop. So yeah, you'll be proud of me though. It is raining, but I still force myself to get out for a walk. One thing we didn't do so far in this vlog is look at houses. Look at here. They still have their Halloween decorations up, but yeah, that's a nice home. I love this little stretch of eclectic homes. Now this street is interesting because it's actually the back of some beautiful big manor homes. Look at this. That's basically someone's coach house, and over here is basically another coach house, because you can see the much bigger house behind it. That library is so nice now that they've renovated it. It was closed for about 10 years. I have not stepped foot in there in ages. They've really done a nice job. I'm gonna leave it off here and just leave you with one video, which is one that I wrote about some secrets of writing. It's only 8 minutes long, so have a look at that. See you next time.